Hello, today we're going to be viewing Heathcliff's Holiday E.G.O. Although it's not Christmas or even close, but still, let's get into it. Heathcliff's Holiday E.G.O. is a Zayn level E.G.O. It has a 17 base plus 8 roll, it has an attack rate of 2, and blunt damage. On hit, randomly select one of the following effects, whether that be burn, bleed, tremor, rupture, or sinking, then apply one potency of it on the enemies that you hit next turn. But, repeat the process to 2+ your highest absolute gluttony resonance to a maximum of 7 times. So that's alright, I suppose. But, on kill, select one of the following effects: 2 poise count, 2 charge count, 2 haste, 2 offense level up, or 2 defense level up, then apply that to 2 selected allies next turn. The passive of this E.G.O. is called Infinite Hatred. If this unit has an effect on it, and if the target has a negative or a positive effect on it, then you inflict one more burn, bleed, tremor, rupture, or sinking through coin effects or skill effects. And you also gain one more poise count and or charge count with skill or coin effects. So this passive is very good if you're using a Heathcliff who inflicts a lot of things, like tremor, like the most recent Heathcliff did. So it's a very good passive, but it's got a couple little negatives, right? So if you inflict things onto yourself, then you're going to be inflicting more things onto yourself, but you're also inflicting more onto the enemy, so I think that evens it out pretty well. What doesn't even out is how actually expensive this E.G.O. is, costing 20 sanity. Oh my goodness, 20? That is like double the cost of normal Zayn's. But you also have to cop up 3 gluttony resources and 2 envy resources, which is a little more expensive than most Zayn's as well. And like all Zayn's, although this costs more, it also gives you the same resistances, being endured to one thing, fatal to 2 things, so you're endured to gluttony, and you're fatal to gloom, and fatal to envy. When you decide to crow this E.G.O., your roll is going to change to a 25 with a negative 10 roll, and you're going to be doing blunt damage and have an attack rate of 3. So, worst case scenario, a 15 is not that good. When you are attacking a target and they have above 15 SP, which is going to be most scenarios, you are going to get additional attack weight. But before your attack, the target loses 10 SP. On hit, randomly select one of the following effects: burn, bleed, tremor, rupture, or sinking, then inflict 1 potency next turn. Repeat the process by 2+ highest gluttony absolute resonance times to a maximum of 6. So, pretty similar to what it was doing on the Awakening. Although this E.G.O. has been pretty underwhelming so far, I think the drip somewhat makes up for it, having a amazing Awakening. I mean, it's not too crazy, but I really like it. And the corrosion is phenomenal as well. I like the Christmas colors and I like the festivity, so I'm going to give that a 10. Now, for the strength of this E.G.O., it's going to be pretty low. You're not going to be doing too much, and your roll is going to be fairly low, having 25 on the Awakening and Corrosion. But if you hit heads, your Corrosion is going to roll a 15, which is horrible. I mean, for a Zayn, I suppose, what can you expect? But still, I would expect a little more from a Holiday E.G.O. I digress. So, you're going to be doing 2 offense level up to 2 allies, which is alright, which is going to give it barely above a 2, so let's put it to a 3. It's really, really sad and disheartening seeing how this Christmas E.G.O. just doesn't do much damage. But maybe it'll make up for that in usefulness. Yeah, no it doesn't. It kind of does with a passive. The passive's actually pretty good. The passive is going to be carrying this E.G.O. by a long shot, but getting a couple count of something, or something, inflicting it to allies, like, what are you going to do? Give 2 poise count to allies that don't use poise? Give 2 charge count to allies that don't use charge? The haste offense level and defense level up would be nice to random allies. That's nice, but it's on kill. So that is not guaranteed, and it's actually fairly unlikely because this E.G.O. is pretty weak. But the passive is pretty good, making you able to do a bit more infliction of stuff and gain a little bit more poise and charge, even though we don't really have a... Well, we do have a charge Heathcliff, but that's Rabbit, and Rabbit doesn't really use charge too much. And poise Heathcliff, I might be wrong, but I think either she or Queequeg, Heathcliff, use that, but they don't get too much of it, so it's not all that useful. So I'm going to give that a whopping, like, 3 as well. Ugh, that's pretty low. That's pretty low so far. But, honestly, I'm really sad to say that this E.G.O is not worth using, which is a shocker to me because I upside forward this E.G.O the moment I got it. So, yeah. Well, that's a big old nip in the butt. But I say, still, it looks great, but it isn't that great. So, all in all, pretty bad E.G.O. I would just recommend using Body Sack over it to get the additional haste and attack power-ups. But yeah, that's about it. Have a good one.